Welcome back. It's day 20 of my 365-day challenge. Don't forget to subscribe after the video. Today's video is about the will in action, your will in action. And it's from William James on the real source of willpower. Most of us think of willpower as a kind of inner muscle, something you flex and strain to force yourself into action, or for someone else to force you into action. But over a century ago, the pioneering psychologist William James shattered this myth. James argued that the real secret to willpower isn't brute strength, it's the power of attention, your attention. What you focus on and how you hold that focus determines what you actually do. In this talk, I'll break down 5 practical insights inspired by William James that reveal how the will really works, why attention is the true engine of change, and how you can use these ideas to make better choices, build habits, and transform your life without endless struggle. There's 5 parts. First part, attention is will. William James defined the will, modern-day willpower, not as brute force or heroic struggle, but as the effort of attention. True will is your ability to hold a chosen idea in your mind, especially when distractions or impulses try to crowd it out. This is not just a philosophical claim. What you consistently attend to shapes your behavior and ultimately your reality. James said the essential achievement of the will, when it is most voluntary, is to attend to a difficult object and hold it fast before the mind. The so doing is what he calls the fiat. That is the commitment, the mental agreement to carry out something, to do something. It's a yes to the thought that you're holding in your mind. The takeaway here from this first part is to realize any goal, you have to train your attention. The more you return your focus to a goal or ideal, the more likely it is to guide your actions. If you want to change your life, start by mastering what you allow to dominate your mind. And the practical application of this is form a clear, concrete mental image of what you want. Bring it back into awareness regularly, especially when distractions arise. And when your attention drifts, consciously return to your chosen idea. Part 2, what William James called the fiat. That's the silent inner yes. James described a crucial turning point in volition. Volition is your attention plus effort. That's all it is. This crucial turning point, he says, is the fiat, or the silent inner yes. This is the moment when one idea wins out in your mind and you give it your mental assent. It's not about endless struggle, but about allowing one idea to stabilize and dominate, so action naturally follows. He says, we are said to deliberate, and when finally the original suggestion either prevails and makes the movement take place, or gets definitively quenched by its antagonists, we are said to decide, or to utter our voluntary fiat in favor of one or the other course. That sounds like a lot, but he's simply saying that what we have multiple options, and we end up deciding on one course or the other. It's very simple. The key takeaway from here is indecision is not weakness. It's the natural weighing of competing ideas. Don't force motivation. Hold your attention on what matters until one idea feels inevitable. Then consent to it. Sometimes you must act before you feel fully certain. Commitment itself can create clarity. And the practical advice from this, part 2, is stop waiting for perfect certainty. Some decisions require you to act before you're fully sure. And if attention alone doesn't resolve the conflict, let action be the clarifying event. And accept that choosing without guarantees is a core act of will. Part 3, you don't will muscles, you will ideas. James argues that we don't directly command our muscles. Instead, we will the idea of a movement or outcome. The mind imagines the result, how it feels, looks, sounds, and the body follows automatically, without conscious direction or individual muscles. He says, there is no introspective evidence of the feeling of innervation. Our idea of raising our arm is a sense more or less vivid of how the raised arm feels. The key takeaway here is voluntary movement is driven by mental images, not by direct muscle commands. The clearer and more vivid your mental image of the desired action, the more natural your body will execute it. So the practical application of this is, imagine success in sensory detail, how it feels, looks, and sounds. And let the body follow the image. Don't force the effort. The principle applies to everything from sports to business to habit formation. The more specific your mental image, the more seamless your action. Part 4. In simple acts, no effort is needed. Most daily actions, walking, typing, eating, happen without conscious effort. James calls this ideomotor action, when an idea immediately triggers movement because there's no internal resistance. He says, wherever movement follows unhesitatingly and immediately the notion of it in the mind, we have an ideomotor action. We think the act and it's done. And that is all introspection tells us of the matter. The key takeaway here is action flows effortlessly when there's no competing idea or inner debate. And habits are formed when repeating thoughts lead to the same action, making behavior automatic. So what is the practical application? Visualize your desired habit as a simple, sensory-rich image. Use cues and repetition to link thoughts to actions, reducing the need for conscious effort. And shape your environment to prompt the right ideas, placing cues where you'll see them. Part 5, the last part, is repetition builds strength. Willpower is not a one-time act, but a process. Each time you act on an idea, you strengthen its neural pathway, making future action easier and more automatic. This is the foundation of habit formation. He says every representation of a movement awakens in some degree the actual movement, which is the object. The key takeaway here is repetition compounds attention and action, gradually making willpower less necessary. Over time, your chosen behavior becomes second nature. What's the practical application? Repeat the desired action often, especially in the same context. Celebrate your small wins. Each repetition makes the next one easier. And understand that character is built from the accumulation of these small acts of will. So to summarize with 5 points, willpower is attention, not force. The decisive moment, which he calls the fiat, is the mental yes to a chosen idea. And we act on mental images, not direct muscle commands. Habits form when ideas and actions are linked through repetition and cues. And finally, repetition makes willpower easier, and practice builds strength. So there you have it. It's simple. You can review this video, and you could share it with a friend if you found it useful. Please like and subscribe, and look out for day 21. Thanks.